Welcome to the live case study for the LIMBsimple Strategy Factory. Today, we'll be talking about real estate, but most importantly, we'll be talking about growth, leadership, the place of trust, and how a business actually begins to expand faster than it is operationally growing, right? So today, we'll be talking about East Ridge Properties Limited. So I'm going to run you through the story of the company, and then I'm going to run you through the questions, and you can decide what answers you think best suits the business problem. In 2014, Chief Emeka Okafor started East Ridge Properties in Enugu with one single mission: to help everyday Nigerians afford lands across the Southeast. And so what began as a 3-staff business and a freelance market exploded into Nigeria's largest selling real estate company in the East. And unlike traditional developers, East Ridge focused primarily on one thing: selling lands and selling them at scale. Now, through aggressive realtor recruitment, viral social media campaigns, flexible payment plans, and diaspora marketing, the company expanded rapidly across all the eastern states. I'm talking Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Abia, Asaba, and even Abuja. And by 2025, the East Ridge company had built a network of over 8,000 realtors, and they had generated, hold on, 7.5 billion in annual revenue. Now, the company's goal right now is to hit 20 billion within the next 12 months. But beneath all of this success story, they have begun to experience a serious crack, and it is beginning to show. And so as the company has expanded aggressively, speed has now become more important than process. And so what has happened is that some lands have been sold without proper verification. And this has now led to land disputes, incomplete documentation, delayed allocation, legal threats, and just a lot of refund demands by customers. Now, a lot of this has now led to viral posts across social media. You know, those ones where they call out real estate companies for not fulfilling their end of the legal bargains. And aside from that, they're also facing fierce competition by other companies. And what are the companies offering that they are currently offering? Other companies are offering car referrals, bonuses, unrealistically cheap lands, guaranteed ROI that is not quite true, and, buy one, get one free campaigns. And so now East Ridge is faced with one critical decision. Are they going to protect their profitability, or are they going to match the market hype to stay dominant and in demand? And while all of this is happening on the outside, internally, the company is also bleeding from a lack of system and structure. So despite the billions that they have in revenue, the department operates with conflicting information. Customers constantly escalate resolutions publicly. Many managers lack the professional etiquette and operational experience to handle these disputes, and the founder still controls major problems when they arise. Now, even though this real estate has about 8,000 plus active realtor network and base, it is becoming a lot more risky because some of their realtors are over-promising on returns, they are misrepresenting the company's offers, they use fake urgency tactics, the one where it is almost sold out, but we know that the property is really not sold out. Yes. And they prioritize the commissions that they will get over the brand's reputation. Now, with all of the refund liabilities that is happening, the marketing cost increasing, commission expenses skyrocketing, the financial executive also fear that the revenue growth might be hiding operational efficiency. Right? The financial executive, however, fear that the revenue increment could actually be hiding their operational inefficiency. Now, today, East Ridge is at a very defining moment in their lifespan. The company has a massive market reach, strong brand awareness, huge sales momentum, but also all of this growth has also exposed a trust issue, a weak operational system, a founder dependency, and a growing competitive pressure. The real question then is, can East Ridge scale from 7.5 billion naira to 20 billion naira sustainably, or has the company's growth become the foundation on which their downfall starts? Now, you are the questions that we'll be asking participants of this month's Strategy Factory, and would also like your input in the comments, so please get engaged. The first question is, what is the biggest threat to East Ridge's future? Is it competition? Is it documentation issue? Or is it internal structure?
Very much for your question. My name is Chinwe Ato, and with me is my colleague, Deborah. So I will be speaking on the question and she will be closing. So the answer is internal structures are the weakest link in this situation. While competition can be a challenge, it's something that strategy can solve. And also, while weak documentation can be an issue, it's teachable and trainable. But once you have weak internal structures or weak operating systems, your company cannot grow and it will just go down the hill. So our solution to that problem is essentially to fix the internal structure before thinking to upscale or scale or get to the revenue of 20 billion, right? Fix all the weaknesses, make sure that the departments are well aligned, there is a proper structure, there's documentation within all groups and systems, and it's not a one-man, one-company approach to dealing with the business.
Thank you.
Okay.
The bigger history is not another real estate competitor, is internal inefficiency. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The second question is, should the company slow down expansion to fix its system, or should it continue growing aggressively while improving operations?
My name is Benedicta, and with me is Daniel. Good. So for us, we already know that the company already is slowing down in business already. So ready.
Okay.
So telling them to slow down on their operations again is going to kill this company. So we already discovered that they have a niche. They were able to create a uniqueness in selling land alone, and they were able to build in so many states in the country. So they grew their revenue so fast, but on lies. There was no structure, no control, and the truth stared them on their faces when these customers begin to collect their refunds. So for us, we are advising that the company does not slow down because they are slowed down already. Mm-hmm. They will continue their operation, but this time around on integrity. They have to build integrity. There must be a place of communication to fix the crisis to the customers. While all these are going on, business must not stop because they have to generate revenue to fix these issues. They should get the right talent on board for structure to cover risk management, legal, social, political, and general compliance issues. Thank you.
Thank you. The third question is, how can East Ridge transition from a founder-dependent business to a professionally managed company?
So the first thing they must do is separate ownership from management. Okay. Set up a structure that is functional without CEO. He should evolve into a vision setter. In brackets, everyone in the team should understand the vision where the company is going to. Secondly, culture guidance. A culture that must be abided by everyone in the organization. Example, SOP, standard operating procedure. That must be followed to the letter. Okay. Then employ business strategy that will set up the blueprint of the company. Build up a real executive leadership structure. Instead of top marketers becoming executive, East Ridge needs leadership built around competence and not loyalty or sales history. What they need now is core executive team, the CEO, the COO, the CFO, the Chief Legal Compliance Officer, the Chief of HRO, Chief Sales Officer, Marketing Officer, Head of Strategy Information and Project Delivery. Then each role must have a clear KPI, decision authority, reporting line, and accountability system. In summary, East Ridge must transition from the founder-driven business to a professionally managed institution by strengthening the governance, building a competent executive structure, creating scalable system. Sustainable growth will depend on accountability, operational efficiency, professional talent, and reducing dependence on the founder for daily decision, executive, organization stability.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Number 4, what systems must be implemented immediately to reduce documentation problems and rebuild trust?
Okay, so the practical operational system we need to lay down is number 1, they need to create a quality control team. That's the first thing. The crisis will escalate as time goes on, so they need to create a quality control team that will double check the documents,
Okay.
and will verify from the owner, the main owner of the land. They do the background check and all of that, and also they avoid hidden charges. They avoid hidden charges, and if there's a delay in communication to the client, they will communicate with the client that okay, there's a delay on this document, we are on it, and this quality control system will be able to manage the crisis from not escalating into a full-blown issue. And also, they are going to provide a genuine property information. That's the practical step they need to take. So when they provide a genuine property information, the client will be at rest to be able to go with them.
Thank you.
And I'm going to add that they're going to insure their land properties
Okay.
and keep clients updated. Like you have to get a system that will keep these clients updated on what they already got through WhatsApp, emails, and SMS, and never over compromise just to close the sale.
Beautiful.
So I think that's what we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The 5th question is, how should Eastridge respond to competitors offering unrealistic incentives without damaging profitability?
Brand protection, make the brand strong for people to believe in the brand. There are companies that sell similar products for different price, but because of one has a better brand image, people go for the one that even selling higher instead of the one that is selling lower. So it's not about the price, it's not about the product, it's all about who is behind the product, especially when it comes to real estate, that trust is an issue. So for we work on our brand, make the brand secure for people to have that confidence. I would rather buy for these people with history of a business track record for 3 million naira rather than buy for these people without background for 1.5 million.
Okay, for me, I think the brand need to secure a premium institutional choice, in the sense that yes, the brand need to be selling value. That's the most important thing. You need to sell value. Because when you give value for the money that the prospects are getting, obviously they will definitely stick to them. No matter the high level of incentive that is coming from the other competitors. In as much as they realize that, yes, from you, they are getting value, definitely they will stick to the best.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you have any other thing? You still have time.
No more thing, because Coca-Cola today, there are so many people say beverage like Coca-Cola, even at the lower rate. People still go for Coca-Cola.
Very true.
I buy Coca-Cola higher than those Biggie and the rest of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So to the last question, if you were advising the CEO, what would your 12-month roadmap look like to grow from 7.5 billion to 20 billion naira sustainably?
All right, so I have to break it down into 3 quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3. So for the first quarter, we're going to have internal restructuring and positioning. We look at moving from just founder-based information to him paying attention to delegating tasks, to making sure that we are restructuring the system internally, because we realize that some of the staff are not competent. So we'll match their strength, we'll repurpose them as against, getting new people. We'll train them and we'll make sure that, they're accountable to systems, SOPs, and the likes. Then we also understand that communication is strategic and pivotal to business, making sure that leadership is also accountable. So I will make sure that our founder moves from central authority to delegating and being a model leader. Then for Q2, brand repositioning and trust. We are playing in an industry that trust is a key currency and is very vital. So we do brand recognition, we do a lot of communication on where we are, monthly updates, quarterly updates of the products that we've, actually failed them on, and give them updates on what we're doing. We have a system that documents for us. So without your invoices, no approval is on the ERP. We can track it for sales and all of that. Then we have thorough research, clear communication, R&D, business development, Then customer experience training team from the first point of contact to the last experience that they get by the time they get their keys or hand over a location. We'll go to Q3, aggressive marketing, incentives, we'll, tier the incentives, regular, gold, platinum, HMOs for them. Then we'll do fast and pace. Excellence shouldn't override speed. We'll do the talk as we promised. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Good.
As we go through this case study, I'd like for us to think about this beyond real estate, right? I'd like for us to think as strategists, as business operators, think like business owners that are responsible for building organizations that would not just survive, but will also thrive. Leave your comments in the comment sections. Bye.
Every entrepreneur starts with ambition, a vision, a dream, a drive to build something meaningful.
But somewhere between growth, salaries, customers, and survival, many businesses lose direction.
And the founder becomes a firefighter instead of a visionary.
Now imagine a room filled with ambitious founders. Real estate, fashion, tech, healthcare, manufacturing, e-commerce, all focused on one thing: growth.
Welcome to the LIMBsimple Strategy Factory.
Not a seminar, not motivation, not a conference. A 10-hour working session to build real strategies that scale your business.
For over 5,000 businesses, Strategy Factory has uncovered growth blockers,
built scalable systems, simplified decisions, and moved founders from survival to expansion.
And the result?
60 plus businesses crossed 1 billion naira in revenue, with hundreds more rising.
But it doesn't end there.
You join a lifelong network of growth-focused entrepreneurs.
Weekly masterclasses,
monthly sessions,
lifetime access,
real connections, real opportunities.
So the next version of your business starts now. Register for the LIMBsimple Strategy Factory. You'll be glad you did.